Captain, if you would, you can grace us with a log.
All right. Captain's log, stardate 48412.7. Captain David Perone reporting. USS Navajo has been assigned to covertly enter the Gamma Quadrant and set up an unmanned listening post to monitor for Dominion activity near the Bajoran wormhole. Hopefully, this will lead to more opportunities to explore the Gamma Quadrant in the future. End log.
All right. Currently, the Navajo is still docked at DS9, getting ready for its departure with its new orders. If there's any roleplay you guys wish to do, we can do so now. If not, we'll jump to the bridge.
I don't know if I need a scene for it or anything, but Perone probably would notify Salak that he would be standing in as my first officer until the XO returns from his leave. He'll just have to pull double duty.
I am capable of doing so, Captain.
Like I said earlier, you're currently docked to DS9, so whenever you guys wish and are you ready to depart, you may do so. But yeah, feel free to RP anything you guys wish out.
Okay. Ops officer, contact department heads and make sure we are ready to depart. Mr. Vogel, contact DS9 ops and get us clearance to depart the station.
Aye, Captain. DS9 has cleared us for departure, Captain.
Very well. Prawn will check his board and seeing that all the department heads have checked in and that their sections are clear to go, he will look back at Vogel saying, all right, Ensign Vogel, let's clear all mornings from DS9 and proceed to the wormhole. Keep thrusters at station keeping until we're clear of the station, then proceed forward at 1/2 impulse.
Aye, Captain.
I have never experienced travel through a wormhole. This will be very interesting to study.
What was it Kirk's former first officer once said? For everything there was a first time.
That is correct. Also that there are many possibilities. Spock is noted for many quotes among the Vulcan people.
Yeah, so I think when I was a young teenager, I had a calendar of Mr. Spock of Captain Spock's quotable sayings. It was probably most popular among men my age at the time.
What was your favorite quote, Captain?
The one I just gave you.
Most illuminating.
I mean, isn't that what Starfleet's about, Commander Saw? Seeing things for the first time, experiencing things for the first time, going places that Federation members haven't gone before. It's all about doing things for the first time.
Yes, curiosity, exploring new things, new experiences, all of these are tenets of Starfleet. If one is to join Starfleet, logically, these would be what you would expect. Engines are reporting ready, sir.
And seeing that the player, seeing the chat, assumes that we have detached from Deep Space Nine and begun heading towards the wormhole.
I'm glad to be leaving this station. Very interesting place, but not very logically maintained.
But why do you say that? I thought our stay was interesting.
I would agree that it was interesting. And back to our previous discussion about discovering and understanding new things, it is a place where several different cultures and ideas converge. But I do not understand how the captain there manages that station. I also do not understand why he seems to have such animosity towards me.
I'm going to let Ben explain that one to you himself.
Really, there is an explanation.
Isn't there always? May not be logical, but there is always an explanation.
I just assumed that the captain had hostility towards Vulcans.
No, Captain Sisko likes Vulcans just fine. Just not all of them.
Then why would he have a particular animosity towards me? I have not met him up until very recently. He seemed very cold and very distant from me. He would not even shake my hand, as I believe is the custom greeting among humans.
It is. Did you ask him?
I did not. He seemed to be very disinterested in me.
Well, how do you expect to find out if you don't ask him? It's not my story to tell.
That is a good point, Captain. I just simply felt that thought that the captain had other things on his mind.
Out of character, what month is it?
Roll a 12-sided die.
For a GM. It's like, why did he ask? Why does it matter?
Oh, he's still a commander now. Sorry. Sisko's
I
still a
think
commander.
it's probably about May.
It's
somewhere
around
in
May. Yeah. No, it'd be around May because 500 is half. That would be the start of around June. So yeah, it'd be about May.
Maybe he was distracted with the beginning of baseball season, Commander. He
Baseball.
does like his baseball.
Baseball, a human game, mostly involving a small, round, white ball that is stitched together and a wooden stick referred to as a bat.
Yes, and if you want to get to know Commander Sisko better, ask him, invite him to a game sometime, or better yet, ask him to teach you to play.
Interesting. Perhaps that is something I could do. I would have to study and understand the game of baseball more. Human games are interesting, to say the least.
It's not that hard a game. As one actor in the 20th century once said, it's an easy game. You throw the ball, you hit the ball, you run the bases. Not much to it.
Vulcan games often require precision, skill, mental fortitude, and the ability to avoid large, sharp objects.
Well, baseball does a lot of those things. Not the sharp objects thing, but being able to hit a 100-mile-an-hour fastball does take most of those skills.
Very interesting. It would be my understanding that a Vulcan would be able to throw a baseball at least 125 miles per hour, according to human measurements, of course.
Oh, you definitely should talk to Commander Sisko about baseball. You'll be an enlightening conversation. I'm sure you'll learn something.
Thank you. I will do so, Captain.
And with that, Vogel, you expertly pilot the Navajo, little nice circle around the station, as then you kind of collide it softly and point it towards the mouth of the wormhole as it opens up and swallows the Navajo.
Vogel is going to try to get a picture of the wormhole up close, just FYI.
In that case, I'm assuming you're taking it with your camera on the view screen, or are you going to have the view screen, kind of...
She's going to take a picture of the wormhole that's on the view screen.
She's going to click print screen on her keyboard.
Okay, well, then that's just a button press, so...
No, I fully intend to pull out the camera.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, I fully intend to get the camera out.
Well, then you gotta make me a daring con roll difficulty 2 for this. Because you gotta pilot the Navajo and take a picture.
It's fine. Take a threat. I probably have focuses, yeah.
Yeah, take helm operations. Gain a momentum.
Easy peasy.
As the Navajo journeys through the wormhole, the trip is rather quite smooth. It's a bonus momentum.
Yeah, technically I could too, but yeah.
We don't bank that though, do we?
No.
Fortunately, no.
But you emerge safely on the other side as the view of the stars change ever so slightly. As the instrument panel on your console reads essentially Gamma Quadrant.
We have
Captain,
entered
I
the Gamma.
present to you the Gamma Quadrant.
Engines functioning as normal. No adverse effects that we can see from the wormhole, sir.
Excellent, Mr. Vogel. You set course for the coordinates that we got from the briefing. And Science Lieutenant Rye, if you would, let's start scanning. Keep an eye out for Dominion vessels. We are supposed to be covert about this.
Aye, sir.
Setting course now, sir.
You want a reason science for that roll, GM?
No, you're just focused on it.
Alrighty.
Out of curiosity, how, I'm mostly asking out of character, but how far into the Gamma Quadrant are we supposed to set up this unmanned listening post?
Within a light year or so from the wormhole entrance. Your orders are essentially to set up this unmanned listening post. It's sort of an early warning detection for DS9.
Are we far enough in the timeline that they've figured out how to connect to it through the wormhole?
Yeah. That's why they're doing this.
GM, out of character, is this roughly what, season 2, season 3 of DS9?
This is almost mid-season 3.
Mid-season 3. Thank you.
So we are past the destruction of the USS Odyssey.
Mhm.
and effectively in sort of the really hard Dominion Cold War.
Got it.
But the Maquis are still around, so before that event too.
So we know the changelings are in charge of the Dominion, right?
Yes, everyone knows about that.
Okay.
That, and you're well versed with the the Jem'Hadar.
Jem'Hadar, Ketracel White, all that kind of stuff. The Vorta.
With the Vorta, yes, but I don't know about the Ketracel White. Those episodes haven't aired
Okay.
yet.
Okay, got it.
So my question is there any measures other than just keeping an eye out that you're trying to keep the Navajo essentially hidden from sensors, or reduce signatures in any count?
That's what I was trying to think. I was trying to remember. I can't remember if the Jem'Hadar fighters have cloaking devices or not.
They do not at this point.
Commander Solak, let's see what we can do to reduce our sensor profile while we're out here. And let's run it yellow alert. I don't want to get caught with our pants. I don't want us getting caught with our pants down.
Yes, sir. There could be a way to reduce our ion trail as well. That is usually how starships are detected with sensors.
Take the necessary measures, Commander.
If I do reduce our ion trail, Captain, it will limit our maneuverability. Or potentially limit our maneuverability.
Well, whatever settings you make, Commander, just make sure we can undo them in a moment's notice.
We'll try, sir.
But if we do this well, the Jem'Hadar won't know we were here. That is the idea.
Lieutenant Rye, are there any nebulae in the area?
Give me for that scan. That'll be a reason science difficulty of 2.
Okay, I'm gonna take that momentum, and would astrophysics or stellar cartography come into play?
I'll take stellar cartography. You also be assisted by the ship's sensors plus science.
Are you going to roll for the ship, Rye?
Yeah, I'll just back at it. I believe 7 successes there.
That's pretty good.
Well, you gain 5 momentum.
So after I see through the span of the universe, I can say. I'm recording several systems, sir. There is also a dark nebula about 2.4 light years from our current position.
Captain, the dark nebula could potentially hide our ion trail if we were to navigate close to it. The trail would essentially look as if it is part of the nebula.
And how much time will that add to our trip, and what effect will the dark nebula's emissions have on our ship systems?
Ensign Vogel, please calculate how long it would take, additional time it would take if we were to navigate towards the dark nebula.
Aye, Commander.
Reason con, assisted by the ship's computer's con. Diff 1.
I'll use a momentum. Astro navigation for a focus.
Yes.
Well, it's a good thing I used a momentum. Yay, now the ship can assist.
What does the ship need to roll?
Computers con, was it?
Yes, computer's con.
Yay!
You've got the momentum back.
Zing!
So I have a bonus from Untapped, and I believe I get a bonus momentum from Visit Every Star as well.
You want to create like a trait or whatever it is with that, with those 2 bonus?
That sounds like a good idea to me.
If we were to set a course to the Dark Matter Nebula, we could be there at maximum warp in 12 hours, warp 8 in 18, sir.
GM, I have a question out of character.
Yeah.
Would dark nebulae be considered an unknown phenomena for the Federation at this time?
No, not necessarily. It's the reason why it's labeled dark matter is because there's unknown particles there that can't really be seen or identified. Hence the name, dark matter. But
those particles are unknown, essentially, right?
Yeah, it's just because they can't be observed scientifically to be studied properly. That's why that's referred to as a dark matter, dark matter. But there are pockets of dark matter nebula throughout the galaxy and whatnot.
Got it.
And how much time are we adding to our travel time if we go that way?
I'll explain this. Like, you're supposed to put the probe, drop the probe within a light year of the wormhole. Well, not the probe, but the
array.
The array. The array is essentially like a large runabout, the size of a runabout, essentially. So it's small enough that it kind of can be hidden, but not large enough that it can really defend itself. But that's also why it's unmanned.
Okay, so what I'm hearing in there is that we've got kind of discretion of where we're going to put it.
Yeah, it's just it needs to be placed within a light year of the wormhole. This isn't the only array that Starfleet plans to put out. They want to at least get one started, so that way they at least have an early warning detection.
Is that nebulae within a light year of the wormhole?
It's 2.4 away.
Just 2.4 light years away. Okay.
All right, so we're not going that far.
Yeah, we're not going that far.
All right. But let's keep an eye on it. Commander Selleck, what's the probability that the Dominion could be hiding ships inside of that nebula?
I would estimate a 32.5% chance of that, sir.
Well, then let's keep an eye on it. And let's set course, and Perone will pick a spot between the wormhole and the Dark Nebula, a light year out for our spot.
Actually, 35.4372 precisely, Captain.
Actually, strike that. Perone will say, Lieutenant Ryan, Commander Solak, scan the area, find us a spot within a light year of the wormhole that would be an optimum place to position the listening post. Someplace where it's less likely to be detected but can still be useful.
Aye, sir. Lieutenant, begin your scan. I will assist.
Aye, sir.
Give me a reason science or con difficulty 2. Assisted by the ship's sensor science.
Can I use stellar cartography again?
Sure.
I'm also going to go ahead and use momentum, just because I can.
Would you take computers as a focus, GM?
No, not for this role. This is more like you're trying to find an optimal spot.
Hey, my rolls have come back, everybody.
Man, I have a reroll. I wish I could reroll your die.
Ship sensor science.
Why don't you take that one, Ryan?
1 moment. Well, we still succeeded, so that's fine.
You find a nice spot about 1.4 light years away from the wormhole. It is at least close enough to get, obviously a good, decent scan of the area, and it's close enough to the dark matter nebula that it would be somewhat obscured, depending on where how a ship approaches it.
May I ask what the complication was?
You broke a nail.
And whether or not we should roleplay it or not.
The complication is unknown. It's a future thing. They may come up.
I have an ideal location, Captain. It should block it from at least certain directions if we put it in this location, and I will put in the coordinates. Mark
I can-
36.4, whatever.
I concur, sir. Close enough to the nebula that it might provide some obscure elements to prevent ship detection. Close enough, but slightly outside the 1 light year threshold that we discussed in our briefing. 1.4 light years to be precise.
It's a little further than Starfleet wanted, but I think we can justify it. Ensign Vogel, let's set a course for the coordinates Lieutenant Rye gives you. Make it look like we're actually headed towards the dark matter nebula. We'll drop the listening post off, and then go have a look at the nebula. That way, if anybody stops by, no, that's what we'll tell them we're actually out here doing.
Aye, sir.
Captain, so that your suggestion does not seem to be a ruse for the Dominion, I would suggest that we target our sensors towards the nebula. That way, if there are Dominion ships around and we say that we are exploring the nebula, we would not be lying.
Well, that's a reasonable idea, Commander. I think we'll be okay keeping a lookout. Considering the tensions between the Federation and the Dominion, I think keeping an eye around us is a reasonable precaution that the Dominion would understand. But to carry out the ruse, as you call it, we'll go ahead and investigate that dark matter nebula. We might as well take the opportunity to pretend to be a science vessel for a while.
Very good, sir. And Solok will do the sensor scan of the nebula from that station.
So it's gonna probably take you guys roughly between 6 to 9 hours to get to the point you've designated. Is there anything you guys wish to do during that time before you drop off the array?
Solok would stay on station, and he would be monitoring the dark matter nebula.
Yeah, I think the captain is going to also stay on the bridge, considering where we are. He may bring his data pad and do some paperwork from the command console, but I think it's necessary for him to stay on the bridge while we're out here sneaking around the Gamma Quadrant, as it were.
Well, you guys, 6 hours passed, assuming you're going at maximum warp. If you guys don't want to spend too much time in the area.
That is an accurate statement.
Very logical.
You arrive at the designated coordinates, and the ship comes out of warp.
Engine secured from warp speed, Captain.
Very good. Begin the operation. Let's get this listening post deployed and get on our way.
Acknowledged.
Lieutenant Rye, have a look around. Let's make sure we didn't draw any attention to ourselves.
Aye, sir. nothing on sensor, sir. Seems like we're in the clear for the moment.
Jim, would I need to do a roll to deploy the array?
Yes, it's actually an extended task.
Ooh, goody.
This will be a control engineering with a difficulty of 2, work 9, magnitude 3. Resistance is 1.
I don't know if I have a focus for this. Unless you would take reverse engineering, which I think that's a bit of a stretch.
Can the captain assist with presence command?
My control engineering is pretty high. Just FYI.
Most of the probe has been already pretty much been pre-built. It's mainly setting up and running the boot up diagnostics. So I'll take diagnostics for focus.
Okay, great.
On this.
Why is this all garbled up right now? May I use my neural interface for this work?
You're
Connecting directly into the computer so that he's essentially using both his mind and his fingers to do all the tasks.
sure.
Thank you. You said it was difficulty 2?
Yes.
I will buy a die with momentum. So 3 die with a focus. And then is the captain assisting me?
How is the captain assisting?
He's supervising.
Supervising how?
Yeah, he's advising and directing the entire operation. You know, Solak is handling the mechanical, technical details, and the captain is monitoring progress, giving advice as he goes.
Presence engineering.
Oh, that's not good. I was actually going because I wanted to use my advisor talent. There's a whole reason I asked, which requires me to use the command discipline.
I mean, you're advising, like, the way you describe it sounds like you're, going more from an engineering standpoint on it.
Well, he's letting Solak handle those details. He's handling the higher level administrative duties, coordinating everything that's going on the bridge, coordinating with engineering, with every other department.
Okay, then it'll be presence command.
Which gives me a neat idea for a new focus, but I don't have it yet. Yeah, didn't help. But the advisor talent says whenever I assist another character using my command, the assistant character may reroll 1d20. So my assistants give Select another reroll if he needs it.
I can re-roll that 16 if you'd like.
It's a success, though.
And never mind then.
Just say it's a success.
I know. Just like, can we get more of a success? But yeah, you're right.
It's like,
You're right.
well, you could try it and roll into a complication too. So
Yeah, and the way I'm rolling, I'm going to play it safe.
that is currently 4 work. You gain 2 momentum off the roll.
4 work out of how many?
9 in total.
9. Okay. I will go again. I will take a die with momentum. I will re-roll that 20. Oh my god. Just stop.
Well, with my assistance, can he re-roll that die again?
Yes.
Let's see if I can go for a third one. I think Foundry would just be messing with me at that point.
Or the dice guys really want a complication.
There we go. Thank you, Captain.
6. So 4 momentum gained. I believe that puts you at. You're at 3, so puts you at 1 float.
1 float.
Yeah, that's another 4 work. There's 1 work left.
Can we use momentum to essentially
yes,
pierce? Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't do pierce.
You know what I mean? But you know what I mean, like to basically get the extra work.
Yeah, it costs 2 momentum.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Well, if you use the flow, you'd be at 5.
Then we'll do that.
As I narrate here, it took you guys a little bit to get the listening post up and running. Once you had it up and running, you were able to swiftly eject it from the shuttle bay, and it comes online, sending out a perfect signal to the ship.
Signal to the ship is clean, Captain. All systems reporting normal on the array.
Excellent. Good work, people. Out of character, do our orders include, I assume they do, but I won't make too many assumptions. Do our orders include sending a test signal through the wormhole to DS9?
Yes.
All right, operations. Send us a test signal to DS9. Make sure they're getting us clear out here, too.
DS9 received a signal. They are able to getting telemetry from the this side of the wormhole. Oddly, Captain, the array is picking up a distress signal. It's very faint. It's an old Starfleet code.
Can we trace the source of... I'm sorry, Captain.
Can you boost the signal?
Someone can roll a control plus engineering assisted by the ship's communications. Engineering difficulty of 2.
I can do that. You said control engineering?
Yes.
Control engineering. Would diagnostics be accepted? As
this is more of communications.
So it's more of a communication. So computers?
How would you using the computer system to boost the transmission?
To boost the transmission, we'd be using the computer to realign the communications array and boost the signal.
Like, are you writing a program to do that, or?
That would make sense. a program or a routine that he already has created in order for this exact scenario?
All out at increased complication.
Yeah, let's do it. What's the complication now?
2.
2? And the difficulty is 2?
Yes.
All right, I'll buy a die with momentum. I'll use my neural interface.
Communications engineering for the ship.
For the ship. I'll do it.
Gain 2 plus a float. Thank you, Captain Solak. The
Captain. I had no idea that I was promoted in rank.
it's joke, sir. You may understand. The transmission is coming through much more loud and clear. It is an older Starfleet code. Hasn't been used since 2250s. It appears to be coming from a long-range warp probe.
Fascinating. The 2250s, a probe that could potentially have come all the way out here, possibly through the wormhole itself, sir.
Possibly. The signal that it's automated. Is there an audio component?
And there's no audio. It's just essentially a typical Starfleet distress signal from that time.
It is also possible, Captain, that this could be a Dominion trick.
Anything's possible. We have a float. Can we use the float for obtain information to get a location on the probe?
Appears the signal is coming through the dark matter nebula.
Interesting. Well, we were headed that way anyway. What is the content of the signal? Is it just a repeating SOS? Is it transmitting information?
It's an automated distress signal. It appears to be very faint and very weak. Probe is most likely damaged.
All right, Ensignville will set us a course in the direction of the probe. Let's come to a stop just outside the nebula so we can get a better look at the nebula before we consider going inside.
Aye, Captain. Setting course now.
I got a sound effect, don't I?
Sound effects are good.
The Navajo enters warp. Take you roughly around, at maximum warp, 6 hours to reach just outside the dark matter nebula.
All right. Well, along the way, we have, Ensignville would need something to do. Ensignville, you want to see if you can pull up what Starfleet has on that particular model of probe, see what everything we can learn about those in general before we arrive on station.
I'd be happy to, sir.
And Solok will look up what the dark matter nebula or what information Starfleet has on it would have, the effect that it would have on the ship's engines and shields.
Sorry, I was double checking my notes. What was Vogel doing?
Vogel is learning everything we can about what we can about that particular model of probe, or what it most likely could be. Solak is investigating possible effects on the ship with the dark matter nebula. I think we'll have Lieutenant Rye. As soon as we're within long range for sensors, to begin a focused sensor sweep of the nebula and where that signal is coming from.
Let's go with Reason Con, difficulty of 2, assisted by the ship's computers. Con, dig up information on the warp probe. Terms for gaining information on the nebula itself and the ship's systems. Reason Engineering, difficulty 1, assisted by the ship's computers engineering.
You can go first, Vogel.
What was the roll again? Sorry, I got a lot of stuff happening.
Reason Con, difficulty 2, assisted by ship's computers con.
I've got the Navajo pulled up, so I'll roll that for you.
I'll use one of those fancy momentums. This was for the probe thing, right?
Yeah, to get information on the probe.
Bad. I do not think I have a value for that, or a focus for that.
It'd be like starship recognition.
Man, I am rolling awesome today. I'll re-roll the complication then.
Not as awesome as I am. That's our 4th complication so far. Our 4th complication roll.
Yay, ship.
Yay. And you said Reason Engineering for mine?
Yes, difficulty 1.
Difficulty 1. Would you accept computers as a focus for this? Using the computers to do the research?
No.
Okay.
What's the ship rolling?
Computers engineering.
So does that give us 1 momentum with 1 float?
Yes.
Okay.
Captain, I pulled up some info on that old probe. Appears to be an A-19 class warp core probe built during the 2220s, the 2250s. It's fairly big by our standards, sir. It's about the size of 2 runabouts.
It's interesting. That is kind of big. What were they typically used for?
Oh yeah, I forgot my untapped potential. GM gets a threat. And I'll use that for a question, GM. Mostly used for survey missions, Captain. By my estimation, like a long-range probe for initial mapping.
That's interesting. I wonder if I wonder if it stumbled across the wormhole and got on this side of the galaxy by accident. Either that, or it's been in flight for a long time.
Captain, I have the results of my research regarding the dark matter nebula.
All right, what are we getting ourselves into, Commander?
If we enter the nebula, it will cause sensor distortions and power fluctuations. The nature of those distortions and power fluctuations is unknown.
Any effects on shields or any other ship systems?
Not that I can detect at this time, sir. But if there are sensor distortions and power fluctuations could affect shields, along with other systems on the ship.
Noted. Let's we've got a little time before we arrive. Let's see if we can get your department finding ways to give us some protection against that.
I shall have to come up with a theory of some kind, sir. A way to protect the ship from the effects of the nebula.
Now, I understand it'll be difficult without it at this distance, but with limited information you have, you should be able to come up with some theories there, Commander. We're not going to let a little mystery get in the way of us learning something, though.
Indeed. The opportunity also to explore and study this nebula will be an interesting scientific endeavor.
Not to mention the possibility of uncovering a very old probe. Who knows what that thing's got in its data banks?
I am still wondering if there are Jem'Hadar ships in that nebula, sir. It is quite honestly, a perfect hiding place.
I don't disagree with you, Commander, but not going to let fear stop us from having a look. We'll be cautious. We'll keep our shields up, and we'll take the standard precautions. But this is too good. This is too good a thing to pass up.
Fear is something I am unfamiliar with, sir.
In some ways, that's a shame, Commander.
If you say so, sir. Now a theory. Lieutenant Rye, dark matter particles are unknown to our science. We have not been able to study them according to our databanks. But if they are unknown to us, it is very possible they are also unknown to the Dominion. Logically, of course.
Logically.
What would be a way to use the ship's instruments to utilize these dark matter particles? perhaps as a way either to mask the ship or to protect the ship if we were to enter the nebula. Shields would be affected, as they often are when entering nebula, though dark matter nebulas are somewhat inconsistent. Power fluctuations and sensor inconsistencies. There might be a way for us to shield the ship's power from the effects of the nebula.
I mean, we could possibly isolate certain systems, but I don't know if we can guarantee no power fluctuations.
We
With the
could limit
deflector array,
the
we might be able
fluctuations.
to limit them. Yeah. With the deflector array, we might be able to see how they react to movement, and therefore get a more thorough understanding.
The particles you are referring to, yes?
Yes.
How would we use the deflector array? We're essentially pulling the particles, manipulating them in some way using the array?
I think if we could push, that would be what would be best. It's easier to push than to pull.
Streamline. Rather than push, focus them. Focus them in a way that they do not affect the ship's systems, or limit their effect on ship systems. What do you think of that hypothesis?
That sounds like a valid. We'd have to recalibrate the resonance assembly, but I concur. It could be useful.
Captain, that is our suggestion. We would use the array to focus these dark matter molecules or particles in such a way that they would limit their effect on certain systems, say the shields, for example, and the system's power, and the ship's power. We would not be able to guarantee that there would not be any fluctuations, but it would potentially minimize fluctuations in the systems if we were to enter the nebula. This would not account, though, for weapon systems and sensors.
Well, very good. We have several hours. Let's try to set up and run some simulations on that. See what the best estimate of the effectiveness will be.
Logically, sir, given the ship's rugged design, I theorize that we should utilize the ship's ability to withstand attack rather than focus on our ability to attack if we are to enter the nebula and engage in any hostilities with the Jem'Hadar. Assuming, of course, they are there, sir.
Of course.
Very well. We will put together the simulations and provide you with the results shortly.
Captain, permission to go to the science lab. It'd be easier for me to see what I'm working with a holo emitter.
Permission granted.
I will stay here on the bridge, Lieutenant, and monitor your results and assist you as I can.
Thank you, sir.
Lieutenant Wright, you head down to the science lab. Currently, there are no experiments ongoing.
Okay. I'm going to put up the schematics of the ship holo emitter style and start theorizing and running simulations about how we could use the deflector array along with power systems to see if we can minimize issues.
So the documents are like the ship's got like a well-known like record of what happens to starships when they enter similar dark matter nebula. The issue that most Federation ships, well, issues that they run into is the sensors are unable to detect the particles and even or the particles or even the subatomic particles that exist in a dark matter nebula. Hence the reason why they're called dark matter nebulas. They just understand some. They just understand the effects, and most starships have a very hard time avoiding the effects of it because they can't see essentially the particles.
Does any of my force field work overlay in the sense of trying to adapt it? Like, not obviously force field the ship, but the way that they react to stopping matter. Is there any way I could do that kind of on a broader, smaller scale?
I will give this to you. Your force field could potentially act as a magnet to the particles.
Well, that wouldn't be good. But knowing that, could I figure out a way to maybe unmagnet? If I know that the force field is going to act like a magnet, can we do the opposite?
Well, what happens is like in most situations, the reason why there's power disruptions on ships is if the particles sort of collide within whatever energy field it's in, it tends to cause overloads. Essentially, um, like energy surges is the best way I could describe it.
So there isn't like any way to even light up or register the particles without them reacting? Is that kind of what you're saying?
Essentially, yeah, like they're that's sort of the issue with the dark matter nebula is it's because it can't. There's no way for the detectors to actually detect them, so they have no way of how they know that they're interacting with normal matter. They just can register the effects of it. Is all.
Okay, so is there any way to currently reinforce the systems that are going to be crucial? Like, if it's a minor system, don't worry about it, but like just make the systems themselves more rugged so they can take kind of more of a beating? Like, if we can't detect it, maybe we just make ourselves stronger.
We'll go with this. Will be like engineering plus reason difficulty 2.
May I assist?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to use 3 momentum to get 2 extra die. And would warp field dynamics come into play here?
No.
I don't think any of my other ones would be close. That's okay. I can reroll that 20. Hold on.
With what?
Oh, I have cautious.
You have cautious science.
Oh, this is engineering, isn't it?
Yes.
Well, then, fucker, I don't know. No, I don't think studios.
Would you accept diagnostics as a focus?
No.
Okay.
Okay, well, that's still 2 successes, so yes. 3 successes.
Gain the momentum. Well, a momentum back. Does the roll stand?
Yeah, I don't think I have anything that I can use to reroll.
You find in your research that you could boost power to the structural integrity field to help bleed off any energy surges that happen on the ship. However, um, it has a tendency to overload the structural integrity field and could inadvertently cause a warp core breach. You best estimates that by doing this method, you would only have roughly about 8 hours inside the nebula. That is with the complication.
So 8 hours within the nebula before the potential of a breach using this? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying?
Yes.
Ride the bridge.
Breach here. This is Solok.
So, there is a way to strengthen the ship temporarily. I can give us about 8 hours in the nebula. Any longer, we risk a warp core breach, but we could go into the nebula if needed.
Yes, I can see the results of your simulations here. It is concerning that after 8 hours there is the possibility of a breach, but it does shelter us in some way. That is the best of our results, Captain.
Well, it's better than nothing. We'll have to count on Ensign Vogel to plow us the most efficient course to our destination once we figure out where we're going.
Is there anything else you guys wish to do before you arrive at the Dark Matter Nebula?
I can't think of anything other than keeping an eye out for Dominion presence. And as soon as we're within long range sensor range, to start scanning the nebula.
Could we just on standby send like some extra hands to engineering to kind of help keep things steady?
Sorry, sorry, out of character. Are you requesting that there be extra hands in engineering? Is that what you were saying?
I'm just, I think if we're going to something that could possibly lead to a warp core breach, because, yeah, we have 8 hours, but that doesn't always mean things. If we just have some extra standby while in the nebula, just in case, I'd just pitch in an idea.
No, that makes sense. So in character, Solok will say, yes, that is logical. We would have additional staff on hand in order to deal with any irregularities with the ship's engines and with the warp core.
Considering the danger, Commander, would you prefer to be down in engineering once we go in?
I always prefer to be in engineering, sir, but I will go wherever you desire me to be. If it means anything, sir, I have full and complete trust in Ensign Archambault to act as the Assistant Chief Engineer in Engineering.
Well, that is good, but when we enter the nebula, I don't want you down there. Nothing
Yes,
like
sir.
having the chief on hand.
As you wish, sir.
And I want the science department to keep fiddling with ideas just in case we run across any other ideas on the way into the nebula, just to kind of keep us focused on that instead of other projects.
The 6 hours pass as the Navajo exits. This will be scene change, so you'll go down 1 momentum.
I got it.
I don't have any cool pictures, but on the view screen, you see it's just looks like normal space, but you see like these little bubbles, almost like it looks like a giant bubble or ripple ish, like looking at like a sheet of or a water, and you just see like a poor reflection of things. Almost to the point where like you see also like the Navajo almost seems like it's just standing in front of you and then just sort of disappears.
Are these the particles of dark matter?
Could be.
Okay. This is something that we would have to investigate, I assume.
Would you like me to run a stand?
Lieutenant Ray, you're on. Find out what you can. Let's see what we can learn.
I'm gonna go ahead and use one of those momentums to see if I can build some up. Oh, never mind. It's not a roll. I detect nothing. As we expected, Captain. I'm not reading anything.
Are we still receiving the distress call from the probe?
Yes, Captain. The signal appears to be coming either beyond the dark matter nebula or inside. It's unclear.
Any idea how big the nebula is?
Do we have that information, GM, or do we have to roll for that?
I'll just say it. The computer stays because this has been because it's close to the wormhole. It's been scouted out by other Starfleet vessels. It's roughly around a light year. It's kind of odd shaped in a way, but it almost forms almost kind of like a donut or sphere.
Okay. The signal, has it changed in intensity as we've gotten closer?
It has gotten slightly stronger, sir.
Okay. Could we use the intensity of the signal as a way to pinpoint the best the best spot to penetrate the nebula to minimize the amount of time we would be inside?
Give me a reason plus science or engineering assisted by the ship's communications plus science. Difficulty 2.
You want to do the roll, Rye, or do you want me to do the roll?
Go ahead. I'll roll for the ship.
Okay. Reason engineering, you said difficulty 2?
Yes.
And since it's course plotting, could Vogel assist with something plus con?
I'll allow Vogel assist with reason con.
And you said communications engineering for the ship?
Communication science.
Science, my bad.
Right. I'll use my neural interface. I don't know if I have a focus here. I think Vocal is asking if you can have an astronavigation focus. And it was difficulty 2, plus we have Ogle assisting, and we have the ship assisting, so I'm just going to roll it.
Gain 2. You managed to triangulate essentially the signal. It appears to become within the center of the dark matter nebula. Or almost the center.
Based on the size of the nebula, and on the knowledge that it is there in the center, what is our estimated time to be in the nebula while we travel to the center of it?
That will be a momentum spend.
I will take it. I'm asking the computer this. At maximum warp, Captain, we would be in the nebula for 3 hours traveling to the center of the phenomenon.
And Lieutenant Sai, your plan will keep us safe even at maximum warp.
It should. It won't change our time frame, so we'll have 2 hours to do whatever we have to before we have to leave. But other than that, we should be safe.
Essentially a 2-hour buffer.
Yes.
Captain, the other alternative is what Lieutenant Ray's theory is that we're using the deflector to do this. We could terminate the use of the deflector, which would remove the threat of the warp core issue, but we would have fluctuations in power and sensors.
Let's keep that as a backup plan in case we end up spending more time inside than we want to.
Understood.
In the meantime, Ensign, plus the course and engage at maximum warp.
Aye, Captain.
Once we enter the nebulae, I will engage the array to begin protecting our systems from the effects of the nebula.
And Ensign, you are authorized to use that. If you have plans for any fancy maneuvering that'll make the trip safer or cut down time, use such fancy flying at your discretion.
Aye, Captain. Definitely wouldn't want to get caught up in there when our timer runs out.
So you enter the nebula.
We engage the array.
All right. You enter warp as you pilot through the nebula. It is mostly a smooth ride as you are traveling through it. The lights on the bridge begin to flicker. Consoles go dark for a moment, then power back up seamlessly. Though there's no reports of any power surges on the ship. As you near the 3-hour mark, the sensors start becoming up clear, and I'm going to send Rye something.
I'm detecting a star system within the nebula. Class K star with 4 planets in orbit.
Well, that certainly is unexpected. Is it a stress signal coming from one of the planets?
The 4th planet, sir.
Very interesting. Vogel, let's approach that fourth planet. Bring us into standard orbit.
I would like to do an intense sensor sweep of that planet before we get there.
Give me a reason plus science difficulty of 2, assisted by the ship's sensor science.
I'll roll the ship.
Okay, I'm gonna use a momentum and astrophysics, stellar cartography, any focus supply.
Astrophysics.
Oh, okay, I'm gonna reroll one of them 19s. Okay, 2 successes. Oh, the ship rose too because it was a sensors task.
Yes.
Thank you.
That's my girl.
Ship's doing work tonight.
It is.
All right. 2 momentum gained. All right. The star in question is a K-type orange dwarf star. Such indicated is roughly around 4.6 billion years old. There are 4 planetary bodies. The first one in the closest orbit is a rocky Mercury-like planet. Close to the star, scorched surface, indicating severe solar activity. The second planet in question, which is within the habitable zone, is a desert-like planet with, or at least indicating that very light. I don't really have a classification for it because I didn't write it down, but it's volcanic activity is essentially show like it's extremely hot, and it has a somewhat thin atmosphere. The third planet in question is a gas giant, mostly composed of nitrogen, helium, and methane. It has 4 large moons. Each of those moons have thin atmospheres. The fourth planet in question is the icy planet on the outer edge of it. Thin atmosphere composed mainly of carbon dioxide and methane. It is covered by glaciers and ice plains, but also indicates that there could be geothermal activity below its surface due to some glacier activity.
Okay. I will relay all that.
Very good. Said let's enter a standard orbit of the fourth planet. Let's enter right. Prepare sensor probes for the second and third planets. See if we can get a closer look at them and see. And while those are in transit, once we arrive by the fourth planet, let's see if we can locate the warp probe.
Captain, I'm detecting a neutrino surge. A cloak vessel is decloaking.
Where?
Directly in front of us, sir.
I'll stop. Vogel, you got an identification on that ship?
As you come to an all stop, on your view screen, you see what appears to be a Romulan Dedarnus class starship decloak in front of the Navajo.
Well, well, well. Ops, open a channel.
FY, this is a scene change, so you go down one momentum. Uh, yeah, I forgot to do something. Sorry, I'm just changing something on another map that I forgot to do last night.
It's all good. Had to be Romulans. Well, we were expecting the Dominion, so of course it had to be Romulan.
On the view screen appears a Romulan.
Well, hello there. This is Captain David Perron of the USS Navajo. And who is it I may be speaking to?
I am Major Terrell of the Romulan Star Empire.
Oh, pleasure to meet you, Major. Out here conducting scientific operations inside the nebula?
You could say that. I assume your intentions are about the probe that you detected.
You assume correctly.
The probe may have potential security threat towards the Romulan Star Empire, and I wish to retrieve it. Please do not interfere with it, Captain.
Well, I think we need to talk about that, Major. As far as I can tell, that is a Federation probe. It belongs to the Federation Starfleet, and I can't see how it would have a threat to the Romulan Star Empire out all the way out here in the Gamma Quadrant.
That
Care to explain?
is a need to know basis, and you are not in the need to know, Captain. And even under articles of your own Federation edict, we have the right to claim this probe.
Well, perhaps you do, perhaps you don't, but I'm here to establish a counterclaim. If if just the presence of the probe is somehow a threat to the Romulan Star Empire out here in the Gamma Quadrant, then why don't you just allow us to remove it? Then it will no longer be a threat to you.
It's not the probe itself, Captain. It's what's on the probe. And I intend to retrieve it by any means necessary.
I see. Well, what if we get it together? Well, why don't we retrieve it together and have a look at what's on it? Then we can determine just how threatening it is to the mighty Romulan Star Empire.
If there's any prudent information that needs to be shared with Starfleet, then I'll be obliged to do so.
Well, I'm sure there's plenty of prudent information on it. That probe's been out here for over 100 years. There's no telling what territories it it passed through on its way here. Again, a little cooperation between the Federation and the Romulan Star Empire, particularly out here in the Gamma Quadrant, we have much bigger concerns. Is in the best interest of both of our governments.
Your interests in the Gamma Quadrant do not align with mine. Maintain your position, Captain, while we retrieve the probe.
I don't know if I can do that, Major. This system is unclaimed by anyone. I'm fully within my rights to explore the system, unless you're going to claim that your empire has decided to plant their flag on one of these plant their flag out here.
If you wish to explore the system, then fine, but you are to stay away from the fourth planet.
And if I don't,
Then I'll take necessary action to defend what is ours.
so 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 again, you are saying that the Romulan Star Emperor is laying claim to the fourth planet in this system.
No, the probe.
No, there you're wrong, Major. The probe belongs to the Federation.
Yes, 100 years ago, perhaps, but we claim salvage over it.
It's not salvaged. It's still activated. If the distress beacon wasn't working, then it might be derelict. But it is still operating, which means it's not derelict yet. And it still belongs to the Federation, Major.
Our sensors indicate that the probe is in a decaying orbit and is unable to maintain its current activities. Clearly, it is a derelict.
Well, I'm going to ask that you give me a little time to verify that. In the matter, in the way of mutual cooperation between our governments, seeing as we are both very far from home. I'm sure that'll be agreeable with you. Yes, Major?
You may take your scans from this position, unless Starfleet sensors are inadequate. Then I'll be more than happy to provide you with the relevant data.
Now, see, you're already willing to cooperate. We're off to a good start. But I can scan it from here. I'll give me 20, 30 minutes to have a good look at it to make sure uh, that it is to verify, as you said, that it's a derelict and it's a decaying orbit, and then we can work from there. Agreeable?
You have 20 minutes.
Thank you, Major.
Major Terrell out.
Commander Saw, Lieutenant Rye, find me a way to download the memory banks of that probe. You've got 20 minutes. Oh, and don't get caught by the Romulans.
Aye, aye, sir.
You guys are going to attempt to connect to the probe remotely?
Yes. Yes.
Give me a reason plus engineering assisted by the ship's communications engineering difficulty of 2. Actually, no, this will be opposed.
Let's be opposed.
Yeah, because I want to see if they detect your signal.
Repairs and maintenance as a focus.
Add increased complication.
Sure. And I'll use cautious engineering. So complication 2, and its difficulty of what, 2?
No, it's gonna be a post. I have to roll it.
It's opposed.
Yeah, I gotta roll the check real quick.
Vincent Vogel, while they're busy with that, uh, direct the rest of our sensors towards the probe. We should look like we're doing what I told the Romulan we were going to be doing.
Aye, sir. Getting control of sensors now, directing it toward the probe.
Yeah,
Wonder
because
if-
it's
Sorry.
Using my fancy dice roller I made.
Ooh.
Your difficulty is 6 apparently if you want to go undetected.
6.
Sorry, I rolled really
Use
good.
the momentum. Really, really good. For my assist, can I use Starfleet protocol? Since protocol is don't let the Romulans detect you.
I don't know if that's in the handbook.
I just wanted to try to help as much as I can, and that's the only focus I think that I could do here. And I would use all the momentum so luck if I could.
Well, I'm trying to determine if I want to use I want to use a determination here. I'm trying to see if I have a value that matches up.
Good call, good call.
I'll take information as power.
I was looking at that one. Information is power. So I'll use a determination on that, and then
You select so you select when you do determination, then you're selecting a single dice to roll. So if you still have to spend the normal amount of like momentum or give me threat for how many dice you wish to roll.
additional for additional die.
Yeah.
So that'll get 2. So it's 6. So yeah, I'll just use 1, 2, 3. Let's do 1 threat and 5 momentum, right?
To roll 6.
that correct?
Oh, yeah, to roll 5 dice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Still think it rolls the old way, so you have to roll 4 and then make sure you select
Yeah.
using determination.
So 4. Complication range is still 1.
Yes, complication range is still 1.
All right, and use determinated value. So rolling 4 with a focus and determination value.
Oh, complication range. Oh, you're
Sorry, I'll reroll.
no, it's fine.
No, I won't. I was using cautious engineering, so I'll reroll that 20.
But do I get my focus?
No.
Dang it. Alright, I'll still assist.
And sorry, it was complication 2.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay, so I don't help.
Damn.
Any ship bunnies?
Yes.
Ship assist?
The ship assisting with communications engineering.
Come on, ship.
Oh, hold on, I got communications engineering. You said.
Uh-huh. There we go, baby.
Oh, yeah.
Gain a momentum.
I like that, Mr. Burns.
I mean, if Lieutenant Rye's about to throw down, Vogel's going with.
Oh, Rag gonna throw. Rag gonna throw some hands. She not happy. She gonna need holodeck time or something after this.
Romulan boxing program.
Captain, we have made connection to the probe. I am unable to pull records from the probe due to some sort of damage to the device. It seems that we will have to beam someone aboard the probe to get the information from its databanks.
Well, that complicates matters.
Indeed, it would be difficult at that point to hide that from the Romulans. Though, Captain, I'm assuming the Romulans will also come to the same conclusion if they're attempting to access the probe.
I'm just trying to imagine what could possibly be in that probe's databanks that is a danger to the Romulans.
It is very possible, sir, that the probe saw the Romulans in this sector when before it started transmitting its distress signal.
Can we tell what kind of damage it was?
Based on current readings, no. We would have to examine the damage close up, it would seem.
Lieutenant Rye, she seemed quite protective of that particular planet. Just guys didn't pick up any residual tachyons in the system that might indicate the presence of a cloaked Romulan base.
Sir, before I answer that, we are getting an alert from our listening post that we just set up. There's a Dominion patrol headed toward the nebula.
Of course, always a complication. How long before the Dominion patrol arrives?
About an hour, sir. Again.
I'm sorry, you broke up there. How long?
8 hours, sir.
Nothing like a ticking clock.
Captain, since it was our array that detected the fleet, and we did not detect any Romulan signaling devices outside of the nebula, it is very possible the Romulans do not know this fleet is approaching us.
It's likely. I haven't decided whether or not to be neighborly and tell them.
It is a bargaining chip, I believe you could use, if I'm correct in using that particular lingo, sir.
You are, but to play that particular chip, we'd actually have to give it away.
That is true.
And if we tell them the Dominion's on their way, they may just any chance I have of stalling them on capturing that probe also goes away.
Your assumption regarding the Romulans having some sort of base or listening device on the planet is most logical, Captain. And indeed, if the probe detected that they have those types of that base or that type of device on the planet, it would be most illuminating for the Dominion.
Yes, but I'm not sure. The Dominion is a sizable threat to the Federation. I'm not entirely sure I want the Romulans getting caught out here any more than I want to get caught out here.
True. And the Dominions would not think well of the Romulans if they are setting up listening bases or bases of any kind within the Gamma Quadrant.
And if the Dominion decides to take aggressive action against the Romulans, they'd have to come through. Well, they have to come through Bajoran territory and possibly the Federation on their way. Not something that I would look forward to.
Indeed. It's also something the Romulans would not look forward to. Another bargaining chip, perhaps.
So is it your suggestion that I inform the Romulans that the Dominion's on their way?
It would be my suggestion, sir, that the Romulans know that if there is something there on that planet that they do not want the Dominion to find out about, then it would be in their best interest for us to gather the probe and leave as soon as possible.
I think you're attributing too much logic to the Romulans there, Commander. I think it's best if we just destroy it before anyone can read it and then get out of here before the Dominion shows up.
The scientific data on that probe could be most illuminating for Starfleet and for our science departments, Captain.
It could
To
also be
destroy-
illuminating for the Romulans or the Dominions. I think it'd be better if no one knew the secrets besides everyone having the secrets.
Attacking the probe, though, could provoke the Romulans.
I'm willing.
Yeah,
to
but then they don't have a reason to be here, technically, so they would have to leave. And if we don't tell them the Dominion's coming and they're still here, that's on them, not on us.
Yes, but Commander Solik's right. If we open fire on the probe, it will most likely it will cause an aggressive response by the Romulans. Either
They
that
could
or-
see it. They could see it as a hostile act against them.
But I didn't get an answer to the question. Are there any residual tachyons or anything that might indicate the presence of a Romulan base on the surface of the fourth planet? She wasn't all that interested. She wasn't all that worried about us scanning the other planets. Something about that fourth planet's got her a little on edge.
No tachyon signals, sir. I think it's actually just the probe she's here for.
By the way, Vogel, is the probe's orbit decaying as the Romulan claim?
Let me see what the sensors say. Yes, it is, Captain.
How long before its orbit totally gives out and the thing is destroyed on reentry?
It appears that it has a very slow rate of decay, Captain. I estimate about 6 months.
Okay, real quick, the captain wants to look at Federation salvage law, see if he can find a loophole that he could use to maybe get a repair crew on the aboard the probe.
I'm not aware of any statute of limitations, sir, on any Federation object or object that belongs to the planet Earth. If my history is correct, this probe was launched before the founding of the Federation, so it technically belongs to United Earth.
Right. I was asking out of character, though. I want to see.
This probe was launched during by Starfleet.
Oh, it was?
Yeah,
2250 Starfleet was around?
yeah,
I guess it was. Okay.
It's only 100 years ago.
yeah. Well,
Guess
it's a
it's true.
little
Oh yeah,
over
you know
100
what? You know what? I keep thinking it's 2150. I'm sorry. So it does belong to the Federation, and there wouldn't be any statute of limitations on any probe that's sent out by the Federation. It would still belong to the Federation.
Yeah, that's what I want to look at. I want to look at the salvage laws to see if we can make a claim on this probe to counter the Romulan argument.
Uh, Give me reason con difficulty 2.
Okay. I'm going to spend the momentum and give you 2 threat for 2 extra dice. And look at that! It was those last 2 dice that were the success.
There is, I guess you could say, it may be a strange loophole. The probe is still technically active in sending out signals, even though it is a distress signal. That would be the only loophole.
Hey, that's where I started from. That's where it was the beginning. All right. Well, let's see if I can loophole my way into getting a repair crew aboard that probe.
You could just make up the section because I'm totally making this up as we go. So,
Fair enough. Ops, hail the Romulan ship again.
uh, and on screen appears the major.
Major Terrell, we have performed our scan of the probe. We discover that while the orbit's decaying, it's a very slow rate of decay. We have more than enough time to repair the probe. And under Article 7, Section 5B of the Federation maritime laws, that probe is still active since it's sending out a signal, which means it is still the property of Starfleet and the Federation. I am willing to cooperate for the concerns, being neighborly with the Romulans. I'd be more than willing to allow one of your engineers to come aboard the probe with my away team as an observer as we repair the probe and get it into working condition.
Then, under your own law, I guess whoever arrives first, I guess, believe will take ownership of it.
What does she say?
Whoever arrives first will take ownership of it.
That's not what the code says, Major. That probe is still the property of Starfleet. Like I said, I'm willing to bring a Romulan observer aboard as I send my engineering team. And out of sight of the camera, Perone is kind of waving towards Solak to get moving.
Solok took the hint.
I'm actually being far more agreeable than I need to under Federation law, Major.
Captain, while I do not wish to shed blood this evening,
Neither do I. I also have no interest in causing an incident between our governments, and I imagine you do not either. And the Dominion threat to both the Alpha and Beta quadrants is far more uh, concerning than any squabble between our governments.
Give me presence command opposed. I will be setting the difficulty.
And this is where the threat we gave him comes back to bite us in the rear end.
I've been spending it. You know that, right? Ooh. Elston, your difficulty is 3.
Okay, then you know what? I am going to spend those 3 momentum right back, or 3 threat right back at you. We'll take negotiation for a focus.
Sure.
Oh,
Gain 2. Very well, Captain. Allow us to both board the probe simultaneously and collect the data. But there is certain information on there that I wish to be, well, remain secret. We'll be purging the data on the probe's databank so you may not retrieve it.
Let's talk about a time frame on that. There's over 100 years worth of scientific data on that probe. So it would be beneficial to both of our governments.
Indeed.
I'm not necessarily concerned about more recent data in case the probe discovered something in this system that you would prefer it didn't discover. But I am very interested in 100 years worth of scientific data.
Understood. I will order my teams to work with yours, so long as your away team doesn't interfere with what our objective is.
Very well. We'll say 15 minutes.
Very well.
Then we are agreed. I'll be moving my ship within transporter range of the probe as soon as we finish this transmission.
As will I. And she closes the communications.
It's Vogel. Bring us within transporter range. Commander Sullett, put together a team.
GM, how many people can I bring on board that array, or that probe?
Considering the probe inside doesn't have an environment, so probably want to limit your team.
All right, so we'll just say 2 people. It'll be myself and Lieutenant Rye. And we will have, I guess, environmental suits, tricorders, and weapons.
How late do you guys wish to go?
So
How long? How much
how
longer
late?
or how much longer you guys wish to play. I know we are kind of approaching that time frame.
I can go for another half hour. I'm good. Are you saying that because this is like a good place to stop?
We could stop here if you want.
Okay. How's everybody else, how do people feel about this?
My first
I
thought-
can't go super late. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, Cap. I can't go super late, so if this would be the cutoff point, it might be better just because I have the little man. But I can go for again like another half an hour or so.
Well, it sounds like the way these have been going, I think a half hour will probably not be enough to resolve this. And this does seem like
A good place to stop.
this seems like a good stopping point.
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, sorry, baby Rohan has reached if mom's out of sight for too long, he starts having a fit. So I have to be the one to put him down. So I have plenty baby syndrome. I'm so sorry, guys.
It's okay. It's okay. No apologies.
All right, we will leave this to be continued, and then
Cool.
stop the stream here.